Okay, so I'll repeat again. So we are going to, if you have a ball, like a tennis ball would be great, but something else works too. Softball, baseball, not totally essential. A ball and a block would be ideal. And some kind of stick. So I have this broomstick, PVC pipe, dowel rod, an actual stick works. There you go, Adam. That'll work. Yeah, broom or mop is ideal because we'll be doing some cleaning today, cleaning out some end ranges of joint motion. So, what we are going to do to start, as is often the case, is we're going to work some breathing, some breath work. So, whatever position you'd like to be in, we can be on the floor seated or lying down, like so. All right. And I just want to work on, for a couple minutes, some nice easy breathing. Holiday time can be really nice, and it can also lead to stress, changes in routine, which all can affect our system, our breathing. So what I would like you to do is just start off breathing in and out through your nose if you can. First few breaths here, your only focus is, can you breathe in and out through your nose? See how that feels. Then I want your focus to be just breathing a little bit deeper. So can you inhale a little bit more without forcing? And then can you exhale a little bit longer? Inhale through the nose. Exhale. If you can get a little bit more volume of air in and out, excellent. I want you to think about keeping it nice and smooth now. Smooth inhale. Smooth exhale. Easy and smooth. And for the next few breaths, try to extend the exhale a little bit more. So think about making the exhale an extra second or two longer than the inhale. Inhale, exhale. And just observe. If that's difficult for you, don't get frustrated. Just keep smooth breathing, and over time, you may get a little bit better at it. Now try to expand a little more through your whole torso and trunk with the breath, and let it collapse down with the exhale. Expand through your torso and trunk with breath. Collapse down with the exhale. All right, now from here, what I want you to do is just move a little bit intuitively, whatever feels good. So like, if you get up in the morning and you have any feel-good stretches, I really like to just flex and extend my knees. It just feels good from this position. You can shake out your arms, you can roll a little bit. We're gonna get you warmed up a little. So listen to your body. There we go. Whatever feels good. We're just going to take a minute here. And for those of you who maybe didn't hear yet, we're doing a bunch of stuff for the body today. We're going to give a little extra emphasis on the wrists and fingers. So I'm excited for that. All right. So now I'm going to have you stand up. And we're going to get moving a little bit more. So for our standing, we're going to get the blood flowing a little more, so actually I'm just going to have you march in place. There we go. This is not weird at all. You can add the arms a little bit if you'd like to. There we go. Nice. I'm going to be doing about 18 minutes of this here. Really get that heart rate up. All right, you can relax there for a moment. And we're going to do a little rotation. If anyone saw my Instagram stories yesterday, I did some of this, and I really actually like it for a warm-up, and it's kind of fun. So I'm going to have you hinge at your hips, and you're going to reach your arms to the left. It almost looks like a speed skater kind of, except they're like this. And then reach to the right. So you're kind of rotating left as much as you can. Get a little stretch in your hips here, and you want to keep your head still. There's no real science to this. It's just, this is something that I know feels good for me, and it can get things stretched out. Then if you feel good enough, you can get into a little rhythm, get a little momentum, swing. So what I like about this is you can get a little hinge and stretch on the hips, and then with that stretched position, they're kind of stabilizing your body as you swing your arms. Nice. All right, and then you can relax there. Cool. Now we're going to move to the lower part of the body for a moment and work the toes. You don't have to turn your screen, but I will show you. So we're standing. Try to keep your feet planted down, and you're going to lift just your big toes, or attempt to, and then set them down. Just your big toes, and set them down. Now, if you're used to this, and this isn't too bad for you, you can hold for a little longer. You can really try to pull those toes up high. Try to contract those tissues at the top of the feet. And I want you focusing especially on trying to keep your feet planted and not allow them to roll out. Do a couple more. There we go. If this is something that's challenging for you, the good news is, while it might take mental focus, it doesn't take a lot of physical energy. So you can work on it a lot. And you can do it discreetly on Zoom meetings. It's very important. Okay, now big toes stay down. Feet try to stay pretty evenly planted. And we're going to try to lift the lateral foretoes. And then set those down. Lift the lateral foretoes and set those down. If I was coordinated enough, I could make like my feet were talking, and they could kind of mime my lips, but I'm not good enough for that yet. Goals. Now we'll just do a couple more. If you're able to get those lateral toes up, see if you can spread them away from your big toe, all while trying to keep a little bit of an arch in the foot. Here we go. Observe any differences side to side. If this takes a ton of focus, you might also be better served just doing one foot at a time. Okay, now we're going to work our way back up and work on the neck. So we're just going to do some nice, easy neck cars. I want you to think about drawing your shoulders down, fingers reaching down towards the floor, and tuck your chin, round it down. Then we're going to rotate to the right. So drag your chin towards that right shoulder. Tip your right ear towards the right shoulder. Look back and up. Tip to the left. Rotate the chin towards the left shoulder. Round back down to the center. Before we do another one, I want you to roll your neck up, look way up, get a big stretch. And now tuck and round down. Now we're going to the left. So rotate that chin to the left. Tip the left ear towards the left shoulder. Look back and up. Tip right ear towards right shoulder. rotate that chin towards the right shoulder and round down. Then I'm going to have you look up again, get a nice extra stretch. We're going to try to find this stretch with the next rep. Round down. Pelvic position stays pretty neutral. Rotate to the right. Tip that right ear. Look way up. Find a nice stretch. Tip the left ear to the left. Rotate the chin. Round down. And one more time, we'll look way up. Chin towards the sky. Round down. Rotate to the left. Tip that left ear. Find a stretch on the right side, and then reach up. Tip to the right. Rotate the chin over to the right and round down. All right. Now we're going to get those hips warmed up a little bit more. So if you have either a person or a pole or a couch or something to hold on to, a wall, a chair, that would be great. And we're going to work on, I'm going to work my left hip, so wherever you're situated, you can go left hip or whatever's easiest right now. And little time lapse, that's what it's going to look like. It's about 4.8 times speed. So go ahead and bring the knee across, ankle up, knee high and pry out. Ankle kicks back and up with the knee. Reach back behind you. Reverse it. Pry up and come across. Okay, we're going to do 2 more here. Come across, ankle up. Remember, no pain. I don't want you pushing through any pain. If you encounter any discomfort here, now internally rotate. Just close that circle a little bit. We want to just go a little bit smaller if you encounter any discomfort. Now pry up. This tends to be a tough part. Bring that ankle leading across. There we go, and then we'll bring it back. Now I like the pole. I've actually got a ceiling pole here, or a pipe, that's a pipe. And it's hot. So what I was getting at there is really whatever keeps you the most stable is ideal here. So you can be whatever position works for you. You can relax those hips there. Shake it out a little bit, and then we'll do the other one. All right? So, other hip. Pull up, ankle lifts, knee high, pry out, ankle and knee kick back, reach back behind you. Drive back, pry that knee and ankle up. We're going over the hurdle. Ankle leads the way across. Beautiful. And we'll do 2 more. Taking your time, and remember that while we want everything staying really stable aside from your hip, it's not about perfection. It's about big, pain-free movement. That is what we want. Whew. Good, and once you get your 3rd rep there, then you can relax. Okay. Looking good. Okay. As a reminder, with any of the joint stuff, that keeping it in a pain-free range is really, really important. If we push into pain, it can really start to perpetuate that painful experience and send not great quality information to the brain. So now we're going to be coming down to the floor, and we're going to work on those wrists. So this is where it gets really fun. So what I'm going to have us do is start with your left wrist. Start with your left wrist. And we are going to try to keep our forearm really still, and you're going to extend and flex. All right, so extend, closing this angle, flex the wrist, closing this angle. And you just want to go as far as you can without pain. There we go, and without compensating through the rest of your body. Nice. So just observe about how far you can get. See how it feels. You can grab tightly if it's kind of tough to coordinate, or you can just hang out. Now, I'm just going to have you go side to side. So imagine you're balancing something on your forearm, or on your forearm and your palm, and you're going to go side to side. As you start to meet your end range here, your palm will tip, and that's fine. That's normal. Side to side. What's fun about this is these tissues start to get fatigued really quickly. We're generally not used to really pushing into our end ranges without the elbow and shoulder moving as well. So, I'm sure fun is the adjective you all would use as well. Shake that wrist out a moment. So we're gonna come back to it. Lots of wrist stuff. Right now is just the warm up. So here, extend and pull up. Extend, flex. Observe any differences. So for a lot of you now, you're probably using your dominant arm. For me, my dominant is my left. It's been injured a lot of times, so big differences between the wrists. So just observe. This is information. See how far are you able to flex and extend actively. And now we'll do just side to side here. And what you'll notice, which you probably noticed on the other side as well, is that when you're rotating towards your pinky side, you're going to get a lot more range of motion. That is normal. When we do the full cars, just be ready for that. When you go towards your thumb, that's going to be a really tight corner. Nice. And you can shake that one out. All right, cool. Now we get to do full wrist cars. So we're going to push into all those ranges in a circular motion. So we're going to go back to the left. I'll walk you through it here. You're going to extend. Now I'm going to have you rotate, turn towards that pinky side, pull up so your palm is facing you, turn towards that thumb, and extend down. Okay, and I'm just going to have you continue to go that direction. Good. So the idea is your forearm is not moving, and your wrist is going through its greatest range. And as you're doing this, just keep in mind what your hand is doing. Do your fingers want to lead the way when your wrist isn't able to move anymore? There we go. Now we're going to go the other direction. So extending down, go towards the thumb. That's that tight corner, and pull up. Go towards the pinky. Extend down. There we are. This can be pretty humbling. It does get easier over time, and it can make a really big difference when all the your wrist is a pretty complicated joint in there. There are joints, lots of joints. When your hand and wrist work well, it sends better information to your whole forearm, and you can relax there. So I tend to find I actually have less tension in my entire left side, left arm, if my left wrist is healthier. And same with the other side. Now, we'll go to the right. We're going to extend. And by the way, you don't have to be kneeling, whatever position you want to be in. I know some of you are in different ones. Extend, rotate towards that pinky side, pull up, rotate towards the thumb. And here, observe any differences. With some of the joints like this that are a little tougher to coordinate, sometimes that can help us identify issues even better. Because one side might be really difficult and the other side could be easy. And that's an indication that one side's probably healthier and the other could use a little extra love. So forearm is staying as still as possible. And remember, we're not pushing through pain. So now, switch directions. We're extended, pull up. And don't worry, we're not just going to be doing wrists from here on out. So I don't think they'd be able to take it. Well, mine wouldn't. As big a range as you can go without pain. There we are. Good. Finish the rep you're on here. And you can relax there for a moment. Okay. Very cool. Next up, you get to lie down. We'll take our load off the knees here. I'm going to have us do a little bridge with a little spinal segmentation. So this always feels good. So we're going to come down. What I'm going to have you do is bridge up really high, and then we're going to try to push one vertebrae down at a time, starting up high. So you're going to drive through your heels, bridge up as high as possible, starting with the upper back. Try to just round one vertebrae down, then the next one, then the next one, then the next one, until you get to your low back. Try to press that low back down first, and then the hips and pelvis come down. Once you get all the way down, go ahead and bridge up again. Okay, and same thing, little by little. I like to imagine one vertebrae sticks down, and then the next one stretches away from it and comes down. So we're rounding and we're trying to create space at the same time. Little by little. Once you come down, we'll do one more. So I want you to bridge up, squeeze those glutes for a moment, and then slowly working the spine down. Little by little. Imagining you're getting some movement there at each segment. Encouraging as much as you can. And then you can set the hips and pelvis down. All right. Very nice. Now from here, we're going to work the knees a little bit. So I did this in the very beginning. I'm going to have you do kick your right heel down and stretch that heel away from you so that right leg is really straight. Bring your left knee up as high as you can towards your face. And you're going to slowly extend as much as possible. Hold that stretch there. Pull back down. We're just going for 4 reps here, nothing crazy. See if you can pull that knee up a little higher towards your face. Keep it right there. Don't let it drop. And slowly extend. Feel those hip flexors and quads working. Try to find a stretch in your hamstrings. Pull back down. If you get any discomfort or pinching in the hip, just drop that knee a little bit. Extend slowly. Just active naps here, that's all this is. Pull back down. And one more here. Pull the knee higher if you can. Extend. Just relaxing on the beach is what we're doing. Slowly pull back down while you're pushing into that end point. Straighten that left leg. You can take a moment, take a little breather. This is really nice. Being able to contract and produce force with your hip flexors and quads in that shortened position is really good for your hip and your hamstring health. So left heel is down, stretched away from you. Pull the right knee up as high as you can. Slowly extend the knee, squeezing the hip flexors and quads, front side of the thigh. And then pull back down. Excellent. Pull the knee higher if you can. Slowly extend. Try not to let that knee move. Slowly pull back down. You might get some shaking going on. That's totally cool. All right, and we'll go 2 more. Extend slowly. Hold for a moment. Observe what you feel compared to the other side. Pull back down. Last one, knee higher if you can do it. Keep it in place and slowly extend. Find that stretch. And slowly bring it back down. Okay. Very cool. Nap time's over. And we are going to go into a half kneeling position. So, still getting warmed up here. So what I'm going to have you do is go with your left knee down, right leg forward. There we are. Excellent. And then from here, I'll show you first. We're going to alternate arms for shoulder cars. So you're going to, without knocking yourself over, you can get a wide stance if you need. You're going to pull, and we're going to rotate and do right arm shoulder cars. Then you're going to take your right arm, press and rotate to the left, left arm. You have a question, Eileen?
Does it matter what our toes on the back leg are doing?
Great question. It does not. I tend to find that if I stay tucked with my toes, I'm more stable, but really whatever feels good for you. Okay, so what I'm going to have us do, we're going to go 90 seconds alternating arms. So, just to be really clear, you're here, I'll walk you through the first rep on each side, shoulder car, press this way, shoulder car, and you're just going to go back and forth. Okay, so start with your left arm, pulling your knee a little bit, and you're rotating your whole torso to the right. Take your right arm, bring it across your body as much as you can, reach up, internally rotate, turning your palm away, reach back, and you're still rotating your whole torso to the right. Come down, reverse, externally rotate, turning the palm up, reach way up, bring that arm across your face, across your body, and down. Now we're switching. So now, same stance, but you're pushing this way with your right arm, rotating to the left. Left arm comes across, up, internally rotate, reach back behind you. So you're staying rotated to the left now. Reach back, rotate, up, and across. And now you get to do the other one. So now you're rotating back the other way. So at your pace here, I'll be demonstrating. Just remember the one side you're rotating towards the shoulder that is moving in a comfortable position. Draw as big a circle as you can. Try to explore as much range as possible. Rotating towards the shoulder that's moving in a pain-free way. And you're getting a little extra shoulder work there because the one that's not moving is kind of pushing into your leg. Looking good. We're doing well. We're almost there. Almost there. There we go. Finish the rep you're on, and then we can relax. Okay. So we are going to do the other stance, but first we're going to break it up a little bit, and I'm going to have you go into a frog position. So what we're going to do is have our knees like this. Our knees are going to be somewhat wide, whatever position you're able to get into without pain, and we're going to come down on our forearms. Like so. Okay, so whatever is comfortable, you don't have to come down as far if that's not comfortable. Make sure you have some padding under the knees. Like this. If you need to come forward, that might help a little bit. But what I'm going to have you do is work on the shoulder blades from here. So I know, who knew? So you're going to pinch your shoulder blades together, and in doing so, pull your chest towards the floor. Press your shoulder blades away to press yourself away from the floor. So pinch in, and press away. Pinch in with your shoulders and press away as much as you can. This is a little bit weird. There we go. We're looking good. Just imagine your shoulder blades pulling together, pressing away. One thing this does do is this position of the hips, generally you don't get as much hip or spinal movement, so most of that is going to be coming from the shoulders, which is what we want. Now, we're going to maintain this position, shrug your shoulders up towards your ears, and pull them down toward your hips. Shrug up toward your ears, pull down toward your hips. And as we're doing this, we don't want the hips moving. We don't want anything else moving except those shoulder blades. Like they're just moving along a track, parallel to the floor. Pain-free and just moving nice and slowly. Another rep here. All right, awesome. So now, do whatever you need to for a moment. Ease yourself out of that. And you get to do the shoulder cars again from the other position. And here, just be mindful, if you have any extra padding that you need for your knees, please pop that under. Any discomfort or pain can kind of inhibit what we're trying to do. So same deal, I'll walk you through the first one, then we'll alternate. You're going to grab the left thigh or knee with your right arm and rotate your torso to the left. Left shoulder is reaching across your face and up. Internally rotate, turning the palm, reaching way back behind you. Reverse, palm towards the sky. Start externally rotating as you meet that resistance. Bring it across your body and down. And then we'll take that left arm, press into your inner knee and thigh, rotate to the right, and that right shoulder is going. So palm is up, we're cutting across our chest and face. Reach up, really high, internally rotate, turning your palm. Reach back behind you. Palm towards the sky. Stay rotated to the right. Externally rotate. Reach up across your face, across your chest. Nice. And then, same deal. We're going to rotate to the left. So take your time here. Keep a nice rotation. And just try to explore reaching that arm back as far as you can. Make sure you're breathing and try to stay rotated as far as you can to that side the whole time. I know my tendency is as I go to start coming back towards the center, which is okay. It's just for the purposes of what we're doing. I want you to try your best to stay rotated. Nice. Almost there. Almost there. So we are sneaking in a lot of shoulders here. But don't worry. Next up, we're going to do some more fingers and wrists. Finish the rep you're on. And then we will move on. Okay. I'm going to grab a quick sip. So now is where it really gets good. We are going to work on the fingers. So I'm going to have you go both at once. I'm in like a quadruped kind of kneeling position, whatever feels good for you, but I want you to initially try not to have too much of an angle at your wrists, so we're going to lean back a little bit. And from that position, we're going to work on basically on finger carves. Here, so what I'm going to do is try to keep all the surface area of my palm down as much as possible. And lift my thumbs up towards my index finger and down, and lift them up and back as far as I can. Okay, so we're hovering our fingers as much as possible up and over an imaginary thumb hurdle. And as you're doing that, just be mindful about how much of your palm is coming up. So ideally, I want you working at that thumb joint, going as high as you can, trying to keep all this skin down. And we'll just do a couple more here. Spend a little extra time there. When I was in high school, I broke my thumb. I had an avulsion fracture. And I made jokes about like, oh, I'm going to have to miss school for physical therapy. Not realizing that I should have gone to physical therapy and didn't. This stuff would have been great. So now you're going to take what I want you to do with your thumb is basically stretch it as far as you can back away from the index finger and plant it down. Now with the index fingers, we're going to lift up, reach towards the thumb, touch down, reach up towards the middle finger and down. And you can reach those middle fingers away, so you're creating as much potential space here. So you're reaching up as much as possible, hovering towards the middle finger and then towards the thumb. So you might find a bit of a stretch here. Trying to go as high as possible while keeping this joint at the base of your index finger down. And now, index finger goes towards the thumb and plants down. And we're doing the same thing with the middle finger, working between the middle and ring finger. There we go. And you're just reaching up and over. It's funny, we have like thumb, index finger, ring finger, little finger, and then the middle one is just middle. Nothing special other than middle. But we have special names for everything else. And now middle finger goes towards the index finger, and ring finger we're going to try to hover over. I tend to find this is the toughest one to isolate. I don't know if you all find the same thing. And you're probably going to get some forearm and hand burning right now. Muscularly, not in a nerve way, ideally. If you are, what I would suggest is just taking a little bit of pressure off your hands and wrists. Last one now, we're going to hover the pinky up and over, stretching it away. Again, trying your best to keep the palm down and try to keep that base of the pinky down. And just a couple more. Nice. And you can relax, shake those out a little bit. So that is also fairly humbling. I know it's not the most exciting thing, but a lot of our joints, even though we move them a lot, we don't really push their outermost ranges, especially independently of one another. So very important to do that. And what we're going to do next is, actually I'll have you flip over and then we'll come back. So I'm going to give us a little bit of a break in the hands and forearms. We're going to do some hip internal rotation because it's always a good thing to do. If you have a block, that would be great. A cushion or just your hands work as well. So we're going to do our supine internal rotation, block between the knees and rotating. You can also use your fists between the knees. Basically, we just want something between the knees blocking them from moving. Okay, so you're going to get your whatever between the knees. We're going to use those lateral hip muscles to internally rotate your thighs, and in doing so, pull your ankles apart. And then you're going to bring them back together and rotate back out. Nice. Feel that contraction in your lateral hips. Bring them together. Pull away. Excellent. Now, when you bring your feet together, I want you to press them into each other. So press your feet together. Press a little harder for a couple seconds. Now really slowly rotate. So pull them away really slow. You're going to start to meet some resistance. Gradually push into that resistance and hold, trying to push further. 3, 2, 1. Slowly bring your feet back. Press your feet together. There we are. Now slowly pull away, really slowly pushing into that resistance. Feel it, start pushing a little harder, go as far as you can and hold. 3, 2, 1, and we're going to just slowly bring our feet back together and then relax. Whew. Very nice. Very, very nice. Okay. Now, for more fun, I'm going to have you, if you have a ball, you can grab that. If you do not have a ball, you can either make a fist or you can grab a block or something. Basically, I want a little bit more of an open hand, and we're going to do some wrist cars. Again. Then we're going to do some more fun. So, I'm going to have you squeeze the ball, and we're basically going to do the same thing we did earlier, but it's going to feel a lot different if you're gripping something. So I want you to start off the first rep gripping like moderately, not crazy. And you're going to, whichever hand you want to start with, you're going to extend, rotate towards the pinky, pull up, rotate towards the thumb, and extend. And what I want you to focus on here as we go through this circle is actively pulling that wrist through each degree of motion, and try to keep the surface area of your hand on the ball as much as possible. What will start to happen in your more challenging ranges is your fingers will start to slip away, your grip will open up a little bit. Now switch directions. Wherever you are, just switch directions. And you can grip a little bit tighter if you're able to. And it's neat to kind of observe at what angle you have stronger or weaker grip. This is important for everybody. My ultimate frisbee people in here, this is a big one. I think this has helped me a lot, even when I couldn't practice throwing much, because you just develop greater grip at different ranges and greater control. And you can relax here. And what's also cool is the healthier your fingers and wrist are, the better you can acquire and improve any skills related to those parts of your body. Super cool. Now, we'll switch it up. So we'll go to the other wrist. I'm going to have you grip moderately. Okay, same deal. Extend. Rotate towards the pinky. Pull up. Rotate towards the thumb. Do your best to try to keep as much surface area on that ball or block as possible. Notice any differences. There we go. Notice where else in your body you are creating tension. There's no wrong thing, but if there are certain body parts that tend to be tense and achy, just notice when we do difficult things that require a lot of focus, now we'll go other way. Like, I might shrug up my shoulder or contract through the abs while I'm doing this, just as a reflexive focusing response. Go as far as you can, each direction. Whew. And relax. Okay. Cool. Quick intermission before we continue with the wrists. We're going to go seated, and I'm going to have you just do some rotations. So heels are going to be wide, hip rotations, I should say. Arms can reach back, and we're going to rotate both at once. You're going to rotate internally and then rotate out. Depending on how this feels, you can either narrow the heels or widen them a little bit more. You could also straighten the legs slightly if you feel like that gives you a little more range. Just looking to get a little extra rotation in. I find that especially if we're focusing on one joint, a little bit more, giving some intermissions helps give you a little bit better quality of work overall. Think about opening up, using those outer hip muscles to pull open, and then using those hip muscles to rotate and pull inward. Awesome. You can keep doing that if you'd like. I'm going to show you what's next. So we are going to do wrist extension, passive range holds one at a time. So it'll be like this, and we're going to lean in as much as we can, and then lean back and peel. We're going to do a few of those each side, and then we're just going to do one round of pails and rails for the wrists, which is going to be driving down like we're trying to gas pedal down, and then using this tissue to pull further into the stretch. The wrists can be a little temperamental there, so I want you to please listen to your body. I don't want to push through any pain. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is, let's take your left wrist. We'll start left again. Okay, you get a little lefty bias here today. And plant the hand down. I like to get my knees fairly close so I have more control. I'm going to try to keep my elbow straight, so I'm going to take my right arm and just push it just above my elbow to keep it straight. I'm going to rock forward as much as I can. You might want to adjust your knees even more. I'm rocking forward. Now I'm going to lean back and try to peel my hand off the floor as soon as possible, keeping the elbow straight. And then you can relax. So you're going to feel all these tissues in the top of your hand and forearm working really hard. That's what we want. Okay? Same thing, you're going to rock forward. As far as you can, how much extension can you get? It's good to have some idea of that. Elbow stays straight, we're going to rock back, peel, use those tissues, contract, pull, observe the angle, and bring it back. Shake it out. We're just going to do 2 for now. So this is really important for whenever we're in a position like push-ups, some kind of a plank, handstands, really anything, and we are past our point of active control. We're in danger of injury or degrading our tissue. So it's really important that we start to develop greater control. That can help. Same with the pails, rails. So what you notice here, like for me, okay, I can get decent range here, but my active range is significantly less. If it's greater than 15 or 20 degrees, that's a little bit of a red flag. It means we really need to work on that. And I probably shouldn't be doing loaded exercises in this position, in that gap. Okay, so we are going to do a round on this left wrist of pails and rails. And what that means is we're going to be at your end range or close to your end range. If you're not sure, I wouldn't go all the way, and I would start maybe here. You're going to gradually, when I tell you to, press down into the floor, engaging all of these tissues, okay, as if you're trying to push yourself out of the stretch. When I count you down again, you're going to use these tissues here that we use to peel to try to pull and close this angle, but not relying on gravity. You're trying to do it actively. Okay, we're just going to do 1 round. So I will walk you through the whole thing. Take your left wrist, remember, not pushing through pain. Lean into a stretch that is not painful. that your body can be somewhat comfortable in. Okay, when I count you down, you're going to start slowly pressing in with your fingers into the floor. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Slowly press your fingers and palm into the floor with the intent to press down through the floor. Okay, build that up to about a 50 or 60% effort, 50 or 60% of your max. If that feels okay, you can press harder. Hold for a few more seconds. When I count you down, you're using all of these front side tissues to pull into a deeper stretch. 3, 2, 1, pull in. Even if you don't move, you're trying to pull. Top of the hand, forearm are pulling, pulling, pulling. Keep pulling. 4, 3, 2, 1. Try to relax in that position for a breath or two if you can. And ease out of it. Okay, just move your wrist gently. If that did not feel good, if we were to do that again, or if you are to do that again, don't go as far into the range. What we want to be mindful of is this angle here. This is the closing angle. If you get pain going this way, or you feel like a block, like it just won't move, a restriction here rather than a stretch here, then that means we don't want to push into that. We want to ease off. Okay, so now we get to do the right side. All right, so same thing, and if anyone has any questions, please let me know. I know sometimes that can be a little tough to coordinate. But right now, we are going to do the same thing. We're going to rock forward, see how far you can get. All right, you're going to bring your left hand behind on that right elbow. Slowly rock back and try to peel, and then return. Okay, so we're using those same tissues. The top side, rock forward again. See how far you can get. Lean back and peel. Peel, peel, peel. And relax. Okay, so for this, again, how much can you actively get and how much can you passively get? If you have a big gap there, that's something we definitely want to address with cars, with these passive range holds, with the pails and rails. So, here we go. We're going to do the same thing. You're going to find that stretch. We're going to do our isometric pails and rails. So find a non-painful stretch. From here, I'm going to count you down, and we'll push down. 3, 2, 1. Slowly start pressing down with the fingers, and then the rest of the palm. Build that effort up to about 50 or 60% of your max, feeling this stretch tissues here working. If you're comfortable with it, build up a little bit harder. Push in, I'll count you down, and then you're going to try to actively pull to close that angle. 3, 2, 1, and pull. Contract top of the hand, top of the wrist, forearm, pulling in, trying to find a deeper stretch. 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax. See if you can hang out there for a couple breaths, as long as it's not painful. And you can ease out of that. Whew. Okay. Shake them out a little bit. Sometimes this can be a little uncomfortable. It can be very uncomfortable too. If it's a little bit uncomfortable and later on and tomorrow your wrists feel fine, then you're probably okay. If you encounter pain that starts to pop up, then I would definitely say we pushed a little too hard. So err on the conservative side, but if you feel great, you can do these with greater intensity as well. Okay, so now we're going to get your stick or pole of your choice and stand up. All right, to finish up, we get to work on some shoulder stuff and wrist stuff. So you're going to take your stick behind you, a little wider than hip width, like that. We're going to do shoulder passive range holds, and from there, wrist flexion and extension, gripping tight. So to start, you're just going to stand tall, reach the stick back and up as high as you can. From there, see if you can flex and extend your wrists. The back of the shoulders and triceps are going to be working. There we go. This is definitely not weird. Good. Relax for a moment, and I'll show you what's next. So don't do it yet, but you're going to lean, pull the bar as far as you can, and then slowly stand and try to keep the bar as high as possible. Okay, so you may get a little extra range of motion there. So here, pull the bar back, so you're kind of using gravity a little bit to wind up as far as you can. Slowly stand. Try to keep that bar high, chest up. Hold. Flex and extend your wrists if you can. It's going to be a little tougher because those shoulders are probably a little bit higher. 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax. Now I'm going to kneel so that you can see me and I don't hit the pipes. But now we're going to go above. So I want you to actually bring your hands a little bit wider than they were before. Wider than shoulder width. Keep your torso solid so your pelvis is tucked, ribs stay down. Back is straight. And I want you to reach it up as high as you can. Okay? From here, flex and extend the wrists. Trying to keep the back of the shoulders working. Chris, I love the mop, man. It's beautiful. It makes it more fun. And slowly come down. There we go. We're going to go one more here, and I want you to focus now. Really use those shoulder muscles. Keep your core solid to reach up as high as you can. So you're here. Reach up as high as you can. Flex and extend those wrists. Here we go. Good. As much as possible. Gripping tightly. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and down. Whew. Okay. And with that, you are all done. Great work today. And if anybody has any questions, comments, complaints,
That's fantastic. Thank you.
You're very welcome, Phyllis. Thanks for joining. Yeah. So, yeah, any questions or thoughts? Wrists can be pretty humbling.
Do the wrists typically light up the rotator cuff like that?
They definitely can. So yeah, but
Okay.
I remember reading some research at some point about like grip in general and activation of rotator cuff muscles from gripping. So I know it makes sense. I can't say with 100% certainty, but I find anecdotally that, yeah, as you really activate the wrists, it sends, if you think about it, it sends better signals to all the surrounding tissues, and everything is connected, so it makes sense that the rotator cuff would be pretty fired up from that. Yeah. So, yeah, what's really neat, do you have something, Eileen?
I'm sorry, I was going to ask, so like, I wasn't feeling any stretch back here when we were on the ground, but it was still like kind of uncomfortable, almost painful. So should I do something different first?
That's a great question. I think definitely I would do regular wrist cars, a decent amount. Doing, so the rotation in general, as we improve rotation, it tends to make more space this way. So with our joints, if you get that closing angle discomfort where that's kind of a telltale sign, if it sort of feels a little uncomfortable here and you don't really get a stretch, you know, there might not be enough space in the joint to like get into that stretched position. So I would do a lot of cars. You can also play around with different ranges. So what you might do, you could do pails and rails or stretching like here. So if you could find a stretch here, you could stretch it, and you could do the same, it's the same procedure where you find the stretch, you try to press out of it, so you would press this way, and then you would use these tissues to pull that way. Does that make sense? And you could do that at any angle, but I would maybe play around with, with the wrist that you're feeling it, I would play around with these directions, and if you can find a stretch there and it feels good, work into those, and that might help clear up some space to get more out of these. But lowest barrier, I would do a lot of wrist cars. So, great question.
Probably because of the type, like a ton of typing, right? Like because we're just like this all the time.
Right, yeah, I mean, you're here and it's like your wrist is used to being probably like neutral or here, and it's really kind of counterintuitive because we think, oh, we use our hands and wrists and fingers a lot, but really, how often are we using, each individual joint isn't getting to express its full range very often. So, yeah. Cool.
Thank you, Brian.
You're so welcome. Good work,
Thanks,
everybody.
Brian. Appreciate it.
You're welcome, Ian. Neil, Walter, good to see you guys. Bethany, Eileen, see you all later. Have a great rest of the weekend.